Today we're going to be looking at the evolution of American political parties. Even though George Washington told us not to start political parties, we did it anyways. First two major political parties are going to be the Federalists and the Anti-Federalists. Federalists were in favor of the Constitution and were pushing for ratification. The Anti-Federalists, afraid of a government that's going to be too centralized, we're looking for some modifications to the Constitution before they decide to ratify it. Once the Constitution is ratified in 1789, the two major political parties are going to be the Federalists, which were fans of a centralized political centralized government, and then the Democratic Republicans, who still push for a more decentralized central government. The Federalists, after the War of 1812, though, start to take on a bad connotation due to their lack of support for the war. They came out looking like they were not patriotic, and you see the death of the Federalist Party as a result of the Hartford Convention. For quite a while then, for about 13 years, you only have one party in power. It's a one-party system, the Democratic Republicans. It's also known as the era of good feelings, since there was no major political turmoil within the political party system. That quickly will end, though, as Jackson starts to gain power, and individuals don't like the idea of someone like Jackson gaining the presidency. So then those that were against Jackson will become the Whigs, kind of as a response to the old Whigs in England, saying, you know, Jackson is acting like a king, and the Whigs in England are the ones that try to limit the power of the king. So here we have a new political party forming. And then we have the Democrats, or the Jacksonian Democrats, who are obviously those who like to fashion themselves after Andrew Jackson. We'll see the death of the Whig Party during the fiery 50s. Look, when we're heading towards the Civil War, the Whigs could not come along a common ground when it came to the issue of slavery, and we see the Whigs die off, and a lot of northern Whigs then will form the Republican Party that we have today, and the Republican Party that eventually Abraham Lincoln will join and win the presidency. The Democrats will just get rid of the Jacksonian aspect, and they just become the Democrats that we know today. In 1860, we see a major split between the two parties. The Republicans wanted to stop the expansion of slavery, where the Democrats also couldn't come to much like the Whigs, couldn't come to one streamlined process, and we see a temporary split of the two political parties, where you have the Southern Democrats who feel you cannot stop slavery, it's unconstitutional to, and then you have the Northern Democrats who preached popular sovereignty, which meant let the territories decide whether or not they want to have slavery. As we move to the Gilded Age at the end of the Civil War, we see two political parties still, the Republicans and the Democrats, and they're fairly similar, just that the Republicans will push big business, are going to be pro-tariffs to protect American business, and they wanted money based on the rare gold. And on the other end, the Democrats typically were from the South. They wanted money to be backed by the more common silver, therefore more money would be in circulation. And then in the 1920s, to the New Deal, we see the Republicans wanting a trickle-down idea of, giving tax breaks for rich and big business owners, and hopefully then the money will spill down to the common and the working class. And the Democrats wanted the other strategy of help the little guy out, give him confidence, and then eventually businesses will expand. From 1950 until about now, if you're going to stereotype Republicans and Democrats, it would be that Republicans believe in state rights. They're more economically conservative and socially conservative. They believe in the trickle down, and you see a lot of Southern support. Whereas the Democrats are going to be pushing for national welfare, the civil rights movement, strong federal power, and then also, as we see with Obama today, pushing for national health care.